just about to sleep time. I want to talk about something that is well in all your domains. I want to talk about social media networks and a little subset of it, which is creating a huge ripple across the big bad marketing world called social media marketing, right? So before we go into that big what is social media marketing and what social media marketing does, I'll tell you what I intend to do with this presentation as we go along, right? But first let us explore what social media networks is. Okay. Social media networks is not just what your Facebook or output of the world is, right? It's not Twitter, it's way more than that. Social media networks is essentially content created by you and me, right? So in its most basic sense, social media networks is a paradigm shift in the way people read, discover, or share information across the world, right? It's changing monologues, what one person is telling a lot of people, into dialogues, which a lot of people are telling a lot of people, right? So that's social media networks in its most basic sense. Now to get out of it and move into what we call social media marketing. Yes. Okay. So what I want to explore today is where social media marketing is today. At some point, I want to explore if at some point social media marketing will take over from your traditional means of marketing. What I mean by traditional means of marketing is your paper marketing, where you get brochures, you get handouts. I want to explore if that is eventually going to happen, and I'm going to make a strong pitch for it to happen at some point in the future. That is going to be my main intention today. So what is social media marketing? What's all the fuss about, right? Social media marketing is a process of promoting whatever your product, your service is through any social media channel. That is essentially social media marketing, right? So as we go ahead, I want to tell you two instances. I want to call it the boy meets girl stories, right? The first instance is, when we were in college. Not that I'm very old, I'm just very young. But when we were in college, when we had to woo a girl, my wife is here. She's probably going to beat me up after this, but still, while we were wooing a girl, we had to follow her from house to bus stop, right? Check out which bus she takes to college, what time she goes to college, what time she leaves. We used to know what classes she took and who her teachers were and how her teachers worked better than she knew, right? Now, the present generation. My colleague Sid, right? I see him wooing women. It's easy. He logs onto Facebook, checks, search the name of the girl. Wow. He knows who their friends are and if they have common friends. Then he tries to woo their common friends, right? Beautiful. And then once he woos the common friends, then he gets them to get him introduced to this girl who is trying to woo. Right? Great. The power of social media. The second instance is a very funny one. Right? Back in the day, like I say, right? We used to have one-liners to hit on women. So you walk up to a girl and say, "Okay, do you believe in love at first sight, or do you want me to walk back again?" Right? That hardly works. Hardly works. But now the biggest hit online is you walk up to a girl and say, "Dude, aren't you that girl on Facebook?" And it always works, because 1 out of 10 women are not on Facebook. And they're like, "Yeah, you're my friend. What? Then it's easy. What are the chances of me wooing women, right? So that's where social media networks is. And why I told you this is because typically what you guys are doing is marketing, right? Look at it. What we call in the player language DHVs, demonstrating higher value, where we had to demonstrate higher value by the physical sense of it, because we had to walk down and show that we were better than a lot of other people who were trying to woo this women in the real world. Here, you would get someone to write a great testimonial for you on Output, or put out a great message on Facebook and get other people to comment on it. And hey, the girl's there, like, what the hell, right? So that's what you're doing. You're marketing for yourself, right? I want to tell you where social media net platforms today are, where it is reached, so what its reach is. That's my, the intent is to pitch at some time in the future. I don't believe that social media marketing is ready to take over traditional forms of marketing, but I believe that we can complement. When I say we, social media marketing can complement traditional means of marketing brilliantly. So if you're doing a PR activity which is going to be in some newspaper, I can take that, put it on Facebook, and spread the word instantly, so that a zillion other people read it. So I'm complementing that effort. As of today, social media marketing is ready to do that. But can we move and take over and move from social media marketing, traditional forms of marketing, into social media marketing? The 2-3 critical things about this is to figure out if we have what we call critical mass. If there are enough people on any social media channel for us to market a product. Enough people on one demographic, enough people on enough people who want a certain product, enough people with the spending capacity to buy a certain product. It is for us to figure out if those kind of demographics are available on any social media network for us to sell anything on it. So I'm going to blabber out numbers and check if, figure out if this works, right? So let us just, before I go into that, let us just assume that I have a hoarding up on MG Road in Cochin, right? Why do I have, as a marketer, why do I have a hoarding up on MG Road in Cochin? The reason why I have it there is because there are going to be people walking up and down MG Road, people go into these shops, and they're going to come and buy a product, and they might see my little sign up there and walk into our place. So I am taking care of what? Critical mass. One, because there are people going to be walking down, up and down that street. There is going to be an audience for that big little hoarding, right? Two, I am looking at my TG. The people who are going to come there are basically people who are coming to buy something. They have the money to spend. They're going to a jeweler, or they're going to a C-Marty to buy some clothes, or something like that. So I'm looking at taking care of my TG. If my products fit into that TG, I want to be there, right? Okay. It's the same with social media, right? I want to check if my TG is available on social media. So generally, let me tell you, by 2010, we're almost there. Generation Y, that is you and me, would outnumber the baby boomers. Baby boomers are these people who came just after World War II, whose main goal in life was to baby boom, but yeah. So they're baby boomers. So we're saying by 2010, generation Y will outnumber baby boomers. And 96% of them would have joined the social networks, right? So yeah. So you could be on Facebook. 96% of them could be on Facebook, or any other social network you could think of, right? Well, the biggest problem with that is that the chances of us getting women is out of the door. Yeah. So, well, what has social media done? Most of the men in the store, hush tones, right? Who log on to the web would first open a window and try and log on to porn earlier. Now you want to log on to Facebook and check if any porn is on there. So social media has overtaken porn as the #1 activity on the web, right? And with that, with so many men and women logging on there, 1 out of 8 one out of 8 couples married in the US last year met via social media, right? Let us explore how long it took for different mediums to reach 50 million users, right? Radio took 38 years. TV took 13 years. The internet took 4 years. Oh, sorry. iPod took 3 years. iPod took 3 years to reach 50 million users. And Facebook added 100 million users in 9 months. We just hit 350 million users. I'm sure all of you saw messages on top that says, we've hit 350 million users, now we're going to give you free presents and change our security settings because so many people are looking at you, right? So we've just, Facebook took 100 million users in 9 months, right? That's the power of social media. 1 billion iPod application downloads in 9 months, right? Where is 38 years to reach 50 million people on radio? What are we talking about? Is that even marketing? Hello? If Facebook was a country, it would be the 4th largest country in the world. After China, India, United States, and Facebook. A concentrated military effort by Facebook would kill all of us. You should be careful, right? Ashton Kutcher and Ellen DeGeneres has more Twitter followers than the entire population of Ireland, Norway, and Panama put together. And Biggie doesn't have so many. I know. So, 80% of Twitter usage happens out of mobile devices, right? So what happens to the traditional forms of marketing? Think about it. I walk into a restaurant and I'm eating fried rice, right? And out comes a worm. A good-looking one, but still a worm, right? And the first thing I do is not call the manager like the olden days, but pull out my phone and go, don't go to this restaurant. There are worms in the fried rice. What happens to the reputation of that place? It's dead, right? Then they retweet it. And the worst thing that can happen to you is the last sentence which says, please RT, and you're screwed, right? So that's what happens to any market, and whatever marketing you do after that, you put up hoardings, you put up whatever, it doesn't work because your friend is telling you there are worms in your fried rice. Unless people really like worms, they wouldn't go back there. So that's a big problem, right? It's the same the other way around. If you go into a restaurant and you really like the food, right, and you tweet about it, all your friends are bound to go back there. So you're creating value. It's the best form of marketing, but it can backfire. A good example of backfiring would be the cattle class comment. I didn't say that. Okay. So, I like to call this the world of mouth, but it's mostly the word of mouth, right? 25% of search results of the world's top 20 brands was content made by you and me. It was not content made by the company. It was content made by you and me. So if I type KFC Kuchen, you'd probably, you would see a fight between Trivandrum and Cochin and who's better. But otherwise, you would see people writing about how good chicken and KFC is and everything else, and also people telling you that they don't like the food there, right? It's up to you to make that decision, but mostly content that you and I have written. The worst part of it is that 34% of bloggers post opinions about products and brands. Yeah, very judgmental bloggers. Thank you very much. A nightmare to a marketer. So let's ask the question: if you were a marketer, do you really like what people are saying about your brand? Can you manipulate that? Can you manipulate in a way that people write good things about your brand? 78% of consumers today in a research trust recommendations from your friend. So I'd probably go to a restaurant if Binny told me it was good. I'm sorry, Binny, I'm picking on you because I know your name, right? But I'd go to a restaurant if he said it was good, right? Because I believe him, I trust him. You probably do that, but also if your friend told you the restaurant was good, right? You probably wouldn't go to a restaurant if you said if there was a big hoarding which said, wow, we have great food, and I'll take pictures of that and place it on that. Right? Your chances are minimum. 14% of them would go by advertisements. Guys, if you realize, we don't search for news anymore. If you're on any social media network, look at it. We don't search for news anymore. We don't go searching for things. The news comes to us. Right? In the near future, we will no longer search for products and services. They will find us, and they will find us through social media. Right? I want to quickly explore what the key social media platforms are. Okay? Photo sharing, blogging, microblogging, RSS widgets, social networking, that's your Facebook output, blah, 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 chat rooms, message boards, podcasts, and video sharing and photo sharing. Right? So, some quick numbers here, right? If you notice, more than 72 actually, 82.9% of the people watch videos online. That's what 82.9% of people do. So if I'm a marketer and I'm smart, the first thing I would do was, if I'm going to release an ad on TV, I'd put it on Facebook as well, because there are people here who don't see TV. Hello. Right? And out of which, 22% of them watch it daily, 37% of them watch it weekly, and 16% of them watch it monthly. Right? The same thing goes. Right? How many people read blogs? It's up there. I'm sorry you can't see it, but the thing is, how many people read blogs? Look at this figure, which is crazy. 85% of people read blogs. Most of them not intentionally, but they search for something and a blog comes up. Right? So 85% of them read blogs. Your opinions about brands, your opinions about different services are made from these blogs. Because 34% of the bloggers write about products and services, remember? This one's, how many people have started their own blog? 49% of people on the internet in India have started blogs. Or people like me who have started blogs and written nothing about it after the first 2 blogs, but hey, they've started blogs. Right? So what's the social media mix in India? The Orkut dominates with 63% and Facebook with about 34%. What does this tell me as a marketer? Right? A huge urban, semi-urban populace is on Facebook. A huge rural populace is on Orkut. So if I am marketing a product which is more rural in nature, I would be on Orkut. If I had to make friendships with people, I would be on Orkut. And if I was marketing an urban product, I would be on Facebook. This is how many people watch videos, right? And in India, 85.6% of people in India watch videos, right? Oh, how often are videos viewed in India? 41% view it daily, 39% view it weekly, and 13% monthly. So you should have it on daily. This is interesting. More than 1.5 million pieces of content, web links, news stories, blog posts, notes, photos, etc., 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 are shared on Facebook daily. and 34% of that could easily be about your product. That is why a marketer has to now start looking at social media networks. And Copenhagen is happening, I can't go beyond this, but I have to say, social media marketing is green. I am not wasting bamboo, hello. I am not cutting down trees to make glossy paper look glossier with pictures and colors on it. I'm using the internet. Okay, we have people who would say, dude, you're not green because you're doing a lot of other things as well, which would indirectly get internet to work. But hey, I'm way more greener than paper being made glossy. I want to, before I want to end with a little small story, right? In Cochin today, we run a company called 048 for Infomedia. I'm assuming I'm hoping a lot of people have heard about kochivibe.com. We are an event aggregator, right? But before this happened, just like the old speaker said, right? Coincidence and everything happens. I'm so glad he didn't quit, because people like me would be out of business, right? So quickly, before all this happened, right? I'm an avid traveler. I was on a website called couchsurfing.com. I don't know how many people have heard about it. Couchsurfing.com basically lets you have a couch for free every night if you're traveling, right? So I'd send a couch request and say, I'm coming to Kerala, I'm coming to Cochin. Can you lend me a couch? And I might get a reply saying, please do. So when I was I'm from Bangalore, so when I was coming to Kerala on business, I wrote on couchsurfing.com on the Cochin forum saying, hey, I'm coming to Cochin, do you guys want to meet up? Right? So December of last year, during the Volvo Ocean Race, I wrote down a comment, or wrote down a little post on a forum that says, do you guys want to meet up? And I had 4 responses, right? One person didn't turn up. His name was Howard Green. Sorry Howard. Anyway, 3 other people turned up.